It's 2016. This is the first meditation talk of the new year, and this is one of my favorite talks. It's actually one of the first talks that I can really remember that Sifu Brown gave back in Michigan when I started practice. And I'm sitting there in meditation class, and he's talking about goals, and he uses this acronym that some of you guys may have heard before for SMART goals, and I'll go through that. But that was the first time I had heard of this, and as he's talking about it, I come to this realization, like, I've never actually made a goal and kept it in my life, and you know, I was 17 or 18 years old at the time, so that's not that strange, but it was an amazing thing for me to realize, like, well, no wonder I have terrible grades in school and why I generally suck at everything that I do. So it was really nice to have this kind of broken down in a way that was really easy to understand and to work on. So when I was sitting in meditation class, and so he's talking about goals, and so the first goal that comes to mind is, or the first New Year's resolution that comes to mind is, I'm going to meditate every day for this year. And if you've ever tried to do something every single day for an entire year that you haven't already been doing for a while, like, you know, to say I'm going to brush my teeth every day for a year isn't that difficult? For some of you, maybe. But to say I'm going to meditate every single day this year without fail, if you've never tried to do that before, that was tough for me. And it was a real turning point in my practice, but in my life, to actually take that power to be able to actually say, I'm going to do this thing, and then follow through and do it. It was huge. And I really love the simplicity of a New Year's resolution being something that you do every single day. And it doesn't have to be. But for example, raise your hand if you have a New Year's resolution dealing with health. Yeah, health. So some people say, I want to eat healthy this year. That's their New Year's resolution. Well, that's stupid, because what does that mean? I want to eat healthy this year. Like, does that mean I'm going to eat an apple at some point from now until 2017, or does it mean like I'm going vegan? Like some of you guys have heard that's one of my goals this year, is I'm actually going to go completely vegan. I know it's crazy, and I've got my vitamins all sorted out. I'm ready to go. But like that's going to take something, and it's so clean. Like it's very clear what that is. There are very specific rules, and if you say I'm going to eat healthy, you gotta make that a little bit more specific. So that's what the S in the acronym SMART stands for, is specific. So who's got a goal about health that they want to come up and talk about? Come on, Brandon, come up here. I'm going to take the... Okay.
I have to talk in front of people. All right.
So right here is good. So
Fantastic.
Tell us about your...
Okay, so a little bit of TMI. I had a digestive disorder, which is pretty awful, and I had to have major surgery for it. So anytime I eat any food that's processed, fast food, which is like an addiction of mine, Taco Bell, it yields horrible results. So I can't go vegan. I tried that, and it was good luck. It was very difficult. So my wife and I have agreed that for the first 3 months of this year, we'll go keto, which is essentially lowering my carb intake, because carbs are a trigger, to make me sort of like feel awful. So for 3 months, we're going to go absolutely keto, which is basically like measuring our food, making sure the ounces are correct, and this is good. This is good. All right, I was told to go.
No,
all right,
it's gonna sound terrible.
all right, and so we started last week to this week, and it's been a very arduous process, because when you live off of carbs, I do. She's Filipino, so we have rice at pretty much every meal.
Get to the end of the story.
Sorry. Yes. So you brought me up here. Are you sure? It's entertaining. So having no carbs has been troubling, but we're going to do it for 3 months. So 3 months, all keto, following it to the T. There's a book, there's a program, and everything. So at the end of it, our goal is to lose at least 20 pounds.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's specific, right? If there's a specific diet, for example, that's out there, and there's information about it. This is what this is, and there's, there are 1,000 different diets that you could follow. There's the paleo diet. There's going vegan. There's what is this, keto? Keto. I never heard of it, but it sounds wonderful. And there's a reason that it has to be specific, because if it's not specific, for example, let's say that you decide, like, I just want to eat healthy, and there are no real rules around that. Well, today, eating healthy might mean one thing, and you might have in your mind, like, I'm not going to eat meat for the whole year, or I'm not going to eat anything processed for the whole year, or no cheese. I love cheese, but I'm not going to eat any of it. But unless you have decided specifically that that's what it is, tomorrow, all that goes right out the window, because today I just feel like eating cheese, so I'm going to eat cheese. Well, cheese is healthy, according to some people. I'm just going to eat a block of cheese today. So it's got to be specific, right? Who's got another goal? Could be health, or really anything that they want to work on this year. Something else that you got. Go ahead. Come on, stand up. Miss Kaya. Try not to give me like the 10-minute story, guys. Just give me the general.
No, one of them is to actually meditate for 30 minutes every day.
Actually meditate for 30 minutes every day.
Yeah, because my biggest thing has been the consistency of keeping to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And you want to do that for the whole year?
Yeah.
Wonderful. 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. And when I get comfortable with that, I can move it up a little bit. But right now, it's just
But it's got to be at least 30 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got it. Easy to understand. So the M stands for measurable. Now that is an incredibly simple, measurable goal. 30 minutes every single day. If you get to the end of the day and you have not meditated for 30 minutes, you've meditated for 0 minutes all the way up to 29 minutes, you know what you have to do. Meditate. It's really simple until you get to at least 30. And if you contrast that with like a goal of, I want to meditate more, which is what a lot of people do. Well, the idea of meditating, if you have something specific about what that is, great. But if you just say more, what does that mean? It could be 1 second more. It could be an hour more. So one of my other goals is to meditate an hour every day, and then once a week to meditate 2 hours. And it's really simple to measure that. By the end of the week, if I haven't meditated an hour for every day and 2 hours on one of those days, then I got to sit until I make that up. And I'm not going to get behind. Okay, so who's got another goal that they want to talk about, work through? Go ahead, Dina.
Well, I haven't completely figured out the details, so maybe this will help. But
yes.
What I want to be able to do, and guys, don't laugh at this, is 1 unassisted pull-up.
1 unassisted pull-up.
It's hard.
Now, so let's work at it from the beginning. So specific.
Yes.
When you say a pull-up, you mean you mean this way with your palm out, not a chin up like this.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Right.
Can you already do this?
I haven't tried.
It doesn't matter, but you can't do this.
No way.
Got it. Okay. And you mean your chin has to go all the way above the bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And are you gonna like rest your chin on the bar, and that's how you know you did it?
You got to be able to hold it for 1 second.
Hold it for 1 second, but
Yes.
hold what? Because it could mean like I'm kind of holding it up here.
Well, the machine I use at the gym, it's an assisted pull-up machine.
Yeah.
And if you get your head to a certain point, you can see your face in the mirror across the
Okay,
gym.
got it. You can
So
see
that's
your whole face in the mirror.
yeah.
So that's specific and that's measurable, right? You have to
Yes.
do 1 for 1
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Pretty easy to measure that. Okay.
Right.
So the next one is achievable. Now, do you think that this goal is achievable?
I think so.
I think so too. I mean, look, it is. It's
Yeah.
achievable. Does that mean that it's going to be easy? Not necessarily. I assume that you've tried a pull-up before and
Yeah.
it hasn't gone so well.
No.
So that's why this is a goal for this year.
Yeah.
Got it. So the goal has to be something that's possible. Now, if you said, my goal is to do 1,000 unassisted pull-ups in a row without stopping, I would say that's not an achievable goal. I don't think there's a human body that has ever existed that could do that. But this is achievable.
Mm-hmm.
And you might even surprise yourself. You might get that before the end of the year and maybe go for 2.
Okay.
And I think once you get 1, 2 is not going to be that crazy. Good.
Okay.
Thank you, man. Sit. Yeah, so the goal has to be possible. It has to be achievable. And I've been known to sometimes like sandbag my goals, just like make them kind of too easy. And then I've also been known to go the other way and make this goal like impossible. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm just going to really go for it, knowing in the back of my mind that I can't do it. So at some point, like, I would just kind of give up, like usually around the first or the second day. That's not going to happen, so I just give up. But you want it to be achievable. And then the next one, R, is reasonable. And that kind of goes hand in hand, but that's kind of speaking to the second part that I was talking about. If you can't really get your head around how you're going to do it, and you can't actually see yourself doing it, it's not a real goal. Now, there's a different kind of goal that I'll talk about later, which is an unreasonable goal. But what I'm talking about right now is like something practical that you can actually wrap your mind around and that you can see yourself doing that will make some kind of practical difference in your life, in something that you're dealing with. So, who's got another one? Anybody else? None of you guys have goals? Come on, Anar, get up here.
My goal is to stretch every day so that I can touch my toes when I bend down.
Stretch every day so you can touch your toes.
Without bending my knees.
Without bending your knees.
Yeah.
So your knees are locked and you're able to bend over and actually touch your toes. Got it. Now, the T stands for timely or time-oriented. So every day is part of that. But you're talking about, you got to have so take for example, if you said, my goal is to be able to touch my toes. And I had somebody say that once for their goal. It was one of the kids. I want to be able to touch my toes. And I asked him, well, how are you going to do that? And he says, well, I'm going to stretch. And I'm like, well, how often are you going to stretch? You're going to stretch once and do it? Because you could do it in one shot, but it's going to be the most painful experience of your life. They do this in Shaolin, by the way. You show up at Shaolin, you can't do the splits. And so they put you in their version, like as far as you can, and then somebody just jumps on you until you get it. Or they'll take one leg up and just like push up until you get it. You can't hear me now, can you? Okay. But you shouldn't do that because you're not going to be able to walk after. So when we say timely, I like the idea of I'm going to do it every day, but you also want a component of how long are you going to do that for? Are you going to do that for the entire year? Are you going to do that until you touch your toes? What are you going to do?
Well, the goal is to get it done before year end.
Before year's end.
Until I get it done.
Stretch every day, and there are a few different stretches that I'll give you, but you got to stretch every day for how long?
I don't have that part down, but a few minutes.
Few minutes could be 1 minute. Few minutes could be 10 minutes. It could be a half an hour.
5? Probably?
5 minutes. Okay,
yeah.
sit. You got it. So the idea of the goal being time oriented, I mean that is part of it being specific and measurable as well. But like, if you don't know exactly for how long you're going to do this thing, and I mean how long throughout the year, and I mean, are you doing it every day, and I mean every day for how long are you actually stretching, then it's gonna be so easy to just let yourself slide on it. So a great goal really should have all of these components. And I encourage you guys to have at least one goal that's like that for inside the dojo, as well as one for outside the dojo. So for outside of your martial arts practice, what is it going to be that you're going to do this year? I also want to discuss the idea, and this is highly optional, but if you are a practiced goal setter and achiever, like if you've done this before, I don't recommend this for the first time that you're trying this, but if you've done it before, if you're like me, I mean, I've been setting goals and achieving them for about 15 years now with my practice after I heard this talk from Sifu Brown, and I'm pretty good at it. So I got those goals, and then I also have some goals that are completely unreasonable. And an unreasonable goal is something like, I don't actually really know how I could possibly do this. I know that it's possible, not necessarily because I know somebody who's done it, but because it's a thing that's possible. But I don't, like, there's nothing that exists right now that is going to make me do it, or the way that I am right now, or the way that I have been living my life up until this point, does not point to me being able to achieve this goal. An unreasonable goal is something that I actually have to completely, fundamentally change my way of being, my way of living to achieve this. And for many people, just saying I'm going to do something every day for an entire year is unreasonable. If you've never done it before, that's pretty unreasonable. And if you've done it before, then kind of take it up a notch. And you want to take it up a huge notch to something that when you tell somebody what it is, you kind of get like, ugh. You get like, it's a visceral response. It's like you feel like, did I really just commit to that? It's like you get a stomach ache almost from it. A great example of a goal like that is I've got some of the kids that I go through the same exercise with them, and I got a young lady who says, I want to write a book. I want to write an entire book. And I don't know if you remember what it was like to be a kid, but being a kid is not conducive to write a book. It's not. The ability to actually sit down every single day and write, and that's like how we broke down the goal, that does not correspond with a normal kid's experience of life. It takes something completely different. It takes a transformation in discipline and in like understanding what is possible. So that is a kind of goal that I don't suggest that you do that for the first goal. Don't make it too outlandish, because then again you're going to do like what I used to do, which is just give up on it right from the get-go. So get used to being able to achieve goals and then choose something. And I like to have 1, 2, maybe 3 goals going. If you get 10 goals going at the same time, it's again going to get really easy to give up on probably all of them. But if you have just a few, you can have a few that you're going at simultaneously, and you can manage it. You can make it work. Another great thing is to tell people about it. And I mean tell everybody. You can tell me, and I will help hold you accountable for it, but you should tell people that you see all the time. And you should tell people who are going to be a positive influence on you, and you should tell people who are really going to like nag you into doing it. If you've got somebody that you live with at home that is great at nagging you, that's the person to tell about your goal. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. If you keep your goal secret, that is a discipline in and of itself, to not tell anybody and yet to get it done. And it's much less likely to get done if you don't tell anybody. Those people who go to the gym, those people who, and there are a lot of these people, and some of them come to the dojo too. We keep them a little bit longer because it's actually like I get all over them, and it's fun here. But people go to the gym and they're like, and many of you I'm sure have been this person, I'm going to get in shape this year. And I go to the gym and it's like they make it 3 weeks, maybe up until like the second month, and then it's done. And one of the reasons why is because they haven't really involved other people. One of the best things that you can do, like let's say that going to the gym was your goal. One of the best things that you could do is actually involve somebody else and say, okay, we're doing this. We are doing this together. And those of you who have had people who have practiced in the dojo with you, you get the same kind of camaraderie. It's like, this is the day that we're going. And I got to show up because this other person is expecting me to show up. And if I don't do it, then they're not going to do it. So it's great to have like a team goal like that, but at least tell people about it so that they're reminding you. You're getting this constant, like, how's that going? How's your goal? You've been getting to the gym every day. You've been eating vegan every day. You've been meditating every day. And the very least that you're going to get is a reminder. The next thing that you're going to get is like a little bit of ego involvement, like, oh, I told people and I don't want to look like an idiot, so I'm actually going to do this thing that I said that I was going to do. And this is one of my favorite things to do is, for example, a goal of like, I'm going to meditate every day. Well, if you set out to do this and you make it a goal and you tell lots of people, your ego kind of gets involved and you decide, like, I'm going to do this, damn it, because I said I was going to. And it's wonderful because it's like you're using the ego to destroy the ego. Because every day, at the end of the day, if I haven't sat, well, you don't want to sit. You don't want to sit to meditate because it's tough. And because your ego doesn't want you to sit and meditate because it's, destroying your ego. But I said I was going to do it. And this person's going to ask me tomorrow. And if I don't do it, then I'm going to feel dumb and look dumb in front of them. So I got to do it. And this is one of the ways to really win that battle within, is to use the ego to your advantage. And a goal, make no mistake, a goal usually has some kind of an ego component to it. The desire to achieve this thing, the desire comes from the ego. If you didn't have the desire, if you were completely free of desire, congratulations, you are an enlightened being. You don't have anything to do anymore. You're done. But if you have a desire, you set a goal, or worse, you just kind of sit there and hope that it happens for you, which is what most people do. So that's like the lowest level, is I got this desire and all I'm willing to do is sit and think about it and hope that somebody comes and drops it in my lap. Then the next level is to have the desire and actually set out to do something about it and make a goal. Well, then what happens is we have a tendency to get attached to the outcome. And that is the kind of goal that is like, I want to lose 15 pounds. And then when you don't lose 15 pounds and you're attached to that goal, well, you feel bad about it and you give up. So then the way to take that part out of it, or to transcend it, is to focus on the action. So you have the desire, you make the goal, but then instead of focusing on the results and being attached to that, you are committed to taking the action. And whenever you fall out of the action, or whenever you're not getting the results that you want, instead of getting depressed and giving up on it, you just get right back to work. And you just get in action, and it's really simple. It is so embarrassingly simple. The way that stuff gets done is to do stuff. And we try to make it so complicated. We really do. And we come up with all kinds of excuses and all kinds of reasons why. Well, this is happening. It's raining outside today, so I can't go to Kung Fu. I can't meditate because it's so loud. The rain's hitting my window. I mean, we will use any excuse and any reason to let ourselves fail because we just love it, because then we get to prove to ourselves that we're failures. But all that, it doesn't really help. It's unnecessary. All you got to do is focus on the action. So that's why the goal broken down into specific action that you're taking whenever you're taking it, whether it's every day or every week or whatever it is. And then at some point, it's very likely that you will fall out of action and you are not getting the results that you want to. And then what you do with that is not get all caught up in the emotion about it, and don't make it mean that, oh, well, I'm not getting it now, which means that I will never get it. That's what we make stuff mean. And if we didn't get our goal last year, we make it mean that I'm not going to get it this year. That's all bogus. That is fantasy. There's no base in reality. Reality is, oh, I need to do this thing. That's it. So, one of my suggestions for you is to write down your goal. Put it up someplace where you see it every single day. Tell lots of people about it. Tell me about it. Give me a copy of it. And get to work on it today, if possible. If not, tomorrow. Because that's the last component of it, is people love to just spend lots of time. No, I want my goal to be perfect. I'm really going to get it right. Like, I got to really formulate this thing. It's okay to make a goal and start on it and then to, like, shift it around a little bit. But if you wait, you will wait until the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, you're going to say, I had something that I wanted to do. I can't remember what it was. And that will be the extent of your goal. So come up with something now. Start doing it now. And that being said, while we're meditating tonight, don't sit there and think about your goals. Think about your goals after. But meditating is going to put you in the right state. It's going to clear all the junk out. And from that state of mind, you're going to come up with a good goal. And you are going to make a commitment from the right frame of mind, that then when you start to fall out of that frame of mind, you just remember, no, I meant it when I said that. I was in a good place when I made that goal, so I'm going to keep doing it. Sit comfortably.